I love being a metalhead. I have loved being one for, 15, 20 years. It's been a long time. Being a metalhead has meant so much and has really been a changing point within my life. And during this ride, there have been so many great lessons that have been learned, but there's also just a ton of attitudes that I've noticed within metalheads, especially within the past couple of years, that absolutely need to stop. See, whenever I was first getting started in this heavy metal thing, I saw some of the attitudes, I saw some of the, elements and the persuasions, and I thought them to be kind of cute. I thought them to be kind of funny. But it's gotten to a point here in 2016 where it's absolutely ridiculous. Even the most minor and trivial things in this digital age are now becoming fierce debate points, almost as though every single thing that comes out of heavy metal, whether it be a brand new song from a band, or whether it just be an opinion by a personality, now has to spark whether or not it's truly metal anymore or all this. Why are we debating this? So, here's something a little special for you today. Here's 5 metalhead attitudes that need to stop. These are things that here in 2016, a time where we should be really just focusing on the celebration of the revitalization once again of metal, like a phoenix from the ashes, just keeps on coming back and becomes huge, huge. Albums are charting, doing very well. There's a lot of interest. We should be celebrating this, but these are 5 attitudes that seem to really be holding that back. And we start with number 5, and that's hair and new metal or metal movements. Fucking deal with it. That's just the reality of it. The reality is that hair and new metal, which many people like to distance themselves from, many metalheads like to distance themselves from, were actually heavy metal movements. Now, I understand those that say that maybe not all hair metal was a part of this, considering a lot of it really shared more of the rock exterior, more of the rock principles that you saw in the 1970s. Like a group such as Def Leppard is one that emanates more along the rock side than, say, a group such as Motley Crue. But you have to understand that hair metal is still an important proponent and important part of the heavy metal landscape, because in the 1980s, along with thrash metal, those two styles of music, those two styles of heavy metal really ruled the roost. Not only just the roost of heavy metal, but at times ruled the roost in American or worldwide thought and music consumption. During the New Wave age, they were directly in competition with thrash metal and hair metal, with pop, with rock. There's a lot going on in the 1980s. New metal, you have to understand, is something that helped to revitalize heavy metal. Now in Europe and in other corners of the globe, and even here in America, there was a lot of homegrown metal that was being created and crafted that was going to be unleashed onto the world in large fashion in the 2000s. But you have to understand and appreciate that here in America, as much as you hate to admit it, the idea of new metal helped to spark a revitalization within heavy metal thought in this country. Number 4, the true metal and poser metal debate. We've talked about this before. Fucking stop it. This is one that will probably go on forever, for eons. I should just not even speak about it. There's no real point. But I'm going to anyway, because this is getting a bit absurd. I understand that you feel that there are some fringe liners out there that are just besmirching the great name of metal by saying that their crappy emo poser band is a part of it. They're posers. They're not true metalheads. I don't care if they listen to Gore Guts or Cannibal Corpse. They also listen to Sleeping with Sirens. Away with them! Motherfuck them! They're a bunch of fucking pricks. Listen, I understand that there's a little bit of frustration whenever you see that people are not all listening to the same thing. It seems that they enjoy something that is considered by heavy metal as a mortal foe. Why is it considered a mortal foe? I'll never really understand, considering heavy metal is very self-reliant and exists very well on its own. Perhaps it's because there are some fans over there in those camps that are claiming it to be heavy metal, and I can understand why there would be a little bit of, pissy feeling about that. But just show yourself that why you guys are the true metalheads, why you guys are the true metal folk. Go out there, support great music. That's all that you need to do. And if you're already supporting metal, we don't need to have this true and poser debate within metal itself. Just because someone listens to Metallica and Five Finger Death Punch while also listening to Immortal and Apsu, bands like that, doesn't make them a poser because they're not just listening to Immortal and Apsu. just because they're listening to what we consider to be, the top of the wave black metal or death metal bands, and they're not listening to your favorite death metal band that has 34 fans, doesn't make them a poser. Doesn't make them someone who's only focused on the mainstream. This is not difficult. You don't have to listen to every single goddamn band to not be a poser or to be a poser. They don't exist. They don't exist. Plain and simple, they don't exist. Someone calls you a poser, act as though they called you nothing. They called you no name. They called you your first name, Bob. Someone says, man, you're a real poser, Bob. It sounds like they just said, man, you're a real Bob. And you just say, thank you. Why, yes, I am Bob, because Bob's my fucking name. Number 3, the past is better, or metal now is better. There are elements from both that are good. Newer fans that don't want to explore the past, quite frankly, your problem. You're missing out on a ton. You're missing out on finding out where your favorite bands came from. What sounds that they listened to that made them who they are. Those of you who are in the past and living just solely there, man, you're missing a lot in 2016. You might only see what's on the surface. You might only see what's being scratched into the etch of, the fabric of culture. But man, there's a lot there that you're not even trying and have no desire to, and why you don't, I will never know. You should always be exploring new music, no matter which side of this argument that you're on. There should be a meeting place in the middle, where those that are here in the now, living with the bands here in the now, and those that are living in the past, in the then, can somehow come together and make the now one where we celebrate the entire fucking genre. There are plenty of metal fans out there that do that, do it very successfully, do it very well, become very knowledgeable in heavy metal itself, and don't look like such a fucking idiot whenever they decide to open their mouth about it, that you would think that that's what you would want to do. When you're firmly rooted with your feet in only one section of history, completely nullifying or dismissing what has happened before it. There's a repetition that's doomed to happen. That's what the old saying says, and that's kind of the truth of it. Those from the past, you're missing a lot. You have to dig a little bit more. I know you're old. I know that carrying a shovel for music seems like a really shitty metaphor, because it is, but you're going to find something that you really like. I've had 50-year-olds comment on videos of mine saying that they love baby metal, and they've been metal fans for 40 years. It can happen. Those of you who are in the now, you can enjoy something from the past that isn't Metallica. It's allowed. It's legal. Somebody might look at you like, why are you listening to that old dad rock? Then you fucking say to them, because that dad rock is the reason why our favorite band is here today. Number 2, if you don't listen to metal, fuck you. I'm going to answer this very simply, very briefly. And if you have the balls, if you have the gall, if this is your mentality, if this is your motif, then go ahead in the comments and just type 2 words as the reply. Just type fuck you. I listen to heavy metal. I listen to jazz. I listen to the blues. I listen to rock and roll. I listen to a bit of rap. I even listen to a little bit of pop. I like Justin Timberlake. I like Miguel. I really like Adele. I think that there are some great things that are out there from just about every single genre of music that is on this planet right now in 2016. There's even some country that I enjoy. There's a country artist from today that I enjoy in Chris Singleton. It ain't just all about the past. I like Hank Williams III. Hell, there have been some pop songs from some of the divas of the generation that I found catchy and somewhat alright. And yeah, I have a poster of Ariana Grande. You got a problem with that? Fuck off. And secondly, speaking of Ari, that brand new album cover with you in like some fucking Mickey Mouse mask, come on, come on. I can remove that from your face along with a lot of other things. Number 1, shaming one another for what they listen to. This is what actually caused this video, because this is getting absurd. It used to be that it was just the true and poser debate. It used to be that it was just the idea of the past is better or metal now is better, but now it's just what you listen to no matter what it is, no matter what genre, no matter what time frame. Come the fuck on! What is going on with this? How you pronounce something is now a reason to shame, shame, shame. How you decide to, differentiate something in the heavy metal universe, what subgenre or sub-subgenre you call it. Now, shame, shame, shame. Is that all that this is? Is this all the shame, shame, shame hour? I'm right, you're wrong. That's what this is? There's no sort of handshake that occurs. There's nothing that's going to be learned. No potential growth can occur because one person always has to showcase themselves to be the alpha, the top dog to the other. Give me a break. Have fucking mercy. Good Lord. If somebody fucks up a pronunciation, whether it be in a video, whether it be in conversation, if maybe they type it wrong whenever they're posting on social media, perhaps they did it in a hustle, in a haste, or perhaps they just don't know. You don't have to be a smartass about it. You don't have to be an idiot about it. You don't have to claim they don't know dick, especially whenever the other 99% of the information that's perhaps being spoken to you or perhaps being typed out for the world to see is solid information that brings together brand new thoughts, either that or brand new angles to the way in which we look at the music that we love. It is not something that needs to be consistent debate points. Whenever it comes to shaming somebody simply because they like a certain style of band, it's like we talked about with the true and poser debate. That should be secondary. That should be nothing. It should just be something where you ask them, hey, why do you like this group? It's really not for me. Maybe you can explain what it is that you dig about them. I've heard a lot of bad things. There's been a lot of bad stereotype. Maybe you can let me know why you think they're all right. If you think there's a band that I like that you just don't get why I dig it, ask about it in the comments. Say, hey, why do you like this? I've heard some bad things about it. I've heard some stereotypes. It doesn't seem like it would be up your alley. Let me know. I'll give you a good answer. We'll have a discussion point about it. But the one thing that I can't stand, the one thing I definitely, as a metal fan, will not respond to, is someone directly saying, you like this, so you're an idiot. Nothing you say has any validity to it. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You should go listen to this and this and this if you really want my attention, if you really want my love. All of what you have to say is just to get a bigger audience. It's just to gain more money. It's just to piss people off. Well, you're right about one of those things. A lot of what I say, I enjoy pissing people off. Principally because there have been a lot of folks just like the one described, so dead set in their ways that a little bit of change does need to break through. We need something here in 2016 to help us celebrate what has happened with heavy metal a little bit more, and I have the solution for that. I do. I truly have the solution for this. It's been something that I've been talking about for years now, but it's one that I'm almost making a homework assignment to any of you who are right now here at minute near 13 of this video. If you want to celebrate heavy metal, its resurgence, if you want to continue to foster its growth, if you want to continue to see this growth potential explode and become something bigger than it already is, I used to say, listen to one brand new band each and every day. Well, now it's two. Listen to two brand new bands. I know this is four, but I have two hands. Better representation. Maybe I'm Italian, who knows, I'm adopted. But it's something where if you listen to two brand new bands a day, and make sure that they are two bands from two different styles of heavy metal. Or maybe do this, one brand new metal band, one band that isn't heavy metal. Make yourself a little bit more well-rounded. If it's something where you've listened to mainly stuff from the past, listen to two bands from the now. Two groups that perhaps only started in the middle portion of the 2000s, or maybe the latter portion of the 90s. Do something that's a little out of your ordinary. Go outside of your comfort zone. You never know what you may end up loving. Check out some of the videos that we've posted. 10 underrated bands. Some of the newer album reviews from bands that maybe you've never heard of. Maybe you've never heard of November. Maybe you've never heard of, I don't know, KO. We've talked about them before. Maybe you've never heard of Swans. Maybe you've never heard of Hail Spirit Noir. Maybe, just maybe, you've never heard of Motorpsycho. I know that I'm naming a lot of groups of the avant-garde and prog rock persuasion, but I'm going off the top of my skull here. Do something a little bit more to explore music. If you claim to love it as much as you do, back it up. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 5 metalhead attitudes or philosophies that need to stop. I hope that you take some of this to heart. And if you have any other comments or anything that you think that we missed, post it in the comments below. Cover Killer Nation. I'll talk to you later.